Hello again, my name is Ernest Minu. Let's settle for the details now. And the Electoral Commission has warned that persons who disregard social distancing protocols during the registration exercise will be sent home. Director of Electoral Services, Dr. Seribo Kwaku, said in an interview on Prime Morning that individuals had to take personal responsibility for their own safety or face the consequences. The Commission was criticized by various stakeholders after safety measures were abandoned by voter ID applicants on Tuesday, which was the first day of registration. Now, health experts fear there could be a surge or a spike in cases of COVID-19 soon if this is not checked. Listen to Dr. Seribo Kwaku.
We not necessarily do that at the registration center, but people should appreciate that wherever they go, it will be in their interest and the interest of their family, interest of all Ghanaians to ensure the social distancing. As for the application of the thermometer, water, and the rest, they had no choice. But the social distancing is the challenge. And I will entreat that once we are dealing with people 18 years and above, they should appreciate the implications of not observing the social distancing. So today we are going to ask our people to seriously force people to observe them. If they can't, then they should rather leave the place.
Now, the Ghana Medical Association, an earlier statement said government should take action against the Commission if it wants to disregard, for the wanton disregard of the safety protocols throughout the registration. But Dr. Seribo Kwaku believes this is unfair.
What I would say is that instead of apportioning blame and threatening people, let us all agree and commit ourselves to the education. Let us all let people know the implication of their actions instead of threatening and the most important, all of us, every Ghanaian should be committed to that. If you go there and you see that it's not working, help to educate the people. I think that will give more results instead of the threats.
Do you feel like that particular threat, as you call it, is unfair?
I think so, because we are talking of adults who should know what is right. So people should take their own health situation into their hands. So that everybody should be on board to help us educate the people and ask people to observe the protocols.
Now, the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE, is asking the security services to enforce the no marks directive during the voter registration exercise. Speaking on Prime Morning, Chairperson Josephine Nkrumah emphasized that the Executive Instrument 164 that has made the directive enforceable by law with accompanying sanctions must be applied. The breaching of protocols by applicants has been a matter of concern for health experts, especially those who predict this prior to the process. Here's the NCCE's solution.
It's important for us to give strong consideration to security agencies playing a critical role in this. I mean, we all understand that the wearing of mask, EI 164, is law. And in that regard, we would expect that Ghanaians appreciate the level of education that has gone on so far and for them to adhere and comply with the law. That being said, there are other issues that perhaps may contribute to the massing up of people at registration centers. EC is doing its job, but I think we need to step up issues around materials arriving on time to avoid massing up of people. We need to look at issues around the potential to have many more people at registration centers, because this time, unlike previous registrations, having guarantors is going to be much more of a likelihood, and that in turn means that you would have a lot of people coming to the registration centers with 2 guarantors each, which means that potentially you have a crowded situation. So when we have the security agencies coming in at this time to enforce law and order, I think it will go a large way to deter people from massing up.
Now, Josephine Nkrumah also admonished political parties to desist from activities which could lead to the crowd gathering, as she assured the public her organization will increase the education drive.
I think another issue that has come up has been the role that we've seen some political parties play, especially political parties arriving with paraphernalia or that sort of thing. And it's important that in order to avert any potential volatility, we should urge political parties to act with a lot of circumspection in ensuring that you do not unduly raise tensions, you do not unduly agitate other parties in order for us to have the potential for any crowd, for any issues that will come up with crowd control that would also involve security agencies perhaps being a little high-handed, and of course that's also leading to more issues with crowd control. So all in all, it is a matter for all of us agencies to work. As NCC, we would step up education in this regard to ensure that people understand that the wearing of masks, as we have said, since EI 164 came into place, is not just, an option. It is a law. We are required to do it, and there is a deterrent factor in terms of the fines and or incarceration that goes with it.
You had the chairperson of the NCCE. As you may know, today is day 2 of the registration exercise by the Electoral Commission. Yesterday, we went around the country to tell you what is happening. We were at Ododo-Diodio, where the process delayed by hours. My colleague Maxwell Adaba is back there, and he's been interacting with people who are there to register, as well as the officials. And he reports that, unlike yesterday, the process has been quite smooth. Maxwell joins us live from Ododo-Diodio.
Buckets there to wash their hand. This lady standing here is one of the people deployed here, one of the health persons deployed here to this particular registration center. Hi, what's your name?
Dokas Nadenswadodu.
Dokas
Nadenswadodu.
Okay, so tell me, what's your job? What's your duty here?
Well, I'm here to check the temperature and to record any case which is beyond me.
Okay.
So I quickly check their temperature before they go wash their hands. Then they proceed to the next level. Okay.
If you say beyond you, what exactly do you mean? It doesn't mean that if someone's temperature is above
38, from 38 going, then I put the person aside, fill a form, and then refer the person to our clinic, Osha Polyclinic.
Okay. Okay. So how many people yesterday did you have to do that for?
None.
None?
Yes.
You didn't get any case of a suspected case?
No.
And not even today?
Everybody's temperature was normal.
It's normal? Yes. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you too.
Okay, great. So you just had one of the health persons here checking the temperature of the prospective registrants before they come in here. Now, the moment they come in here, they will have to use this Veronica bucket, and they will wash their hands here first of all, before they are allowed at the before they are allowed at the registration center. Now here at this particular registration center, we have two places for persons who are young, fit, who can stand for a very long time. And this side is for the aged, it's for persons who are not physically really active. They come here, then the registration is done for them very fast, and then they are able to leave. I have one of the traditional leaders here in this community. So you're welcome to join us.
Thank you.
Okay, so what's your name?
I'm Niapia the Fifth.
Niapia the Fifth.
I'm the paramount school father and kingmaker of English that year.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me, what do you make of the process here today?
Oh, it was wonderful. It was wonderful. It's so wonderful because everything is going on well. No confusion, no insult, and absolutely everything is good. Okay, yesterday we saw some disagreements here yesterday. I'm sure as a traditional leader, you were quite concerned, about it. I heard of it, and that is the reason why yesterday we called our people
to be very law-abiding citizens so that everything will go on well.
Okay.
As you can see today, no problem at all. There is no confusion here. Everything is going on well and smooth.
As one of the traditional leaders here, what would you tell your people?
Okay.
What advice would you give them?
Yes, I'll advise my people not to know any quarreling or confusion.
Okay.
They should make calm and everything, I think, will go on successfully.
Okay. Sure. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so you just had one of the traditional authorities here at Jamestown. He just finished registering, and he's leaving the registration center now. When we came here, we met a woman. She is 97 years. Yes, 97 years. And she came here all the way to this place to register. She left here some minutes ago, and she says she really wants to exercise her civic duty. I have another man here who's joining this place. He's going to register here, and as I mentioned, for persons who are not really active, the aged, vulnerable, they come here to do the registration. Let me speak to, sir, you're welcome to join us.
Thank you.
Great. What's your name?
I'm Alote.
Alote.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your first name?
Come again?
Alote Kilson?
Alote. Alote, yeah.
Okay, sure. I can see you are determined, to take part in today's exercise.
Yeah, it's wonderful. I just came in this morning. I was here yesterday, but I couldn't make it up. And this morning I've come. But the way it's going, I think that's the best way.
So did you like the way it's going today?
Yeah, it's going on smoothly. And if it will happen like that, I think by the close of the day, most people can able to get their cars before close of the day. Yeah.
Okay, sure. I see. What do you make of, there's a lot of talk about exercising your civic duty. Is that what has brought you here, the determination to exercise your civic duty? You really want to take part in the December post, or you just need the ID card?
Yeah, I want the ID card to take part on the December election.
Okay. Is there any special reason why you really want to take part?
No.
There's no special reason?
No.
Okay. Just want to exercise your franchise. Thank you very much for speaking to me, Alote. Now, let's speak to some of the party agents who are here. We have the NDC rep, he's here. We have the MPP rep, he's also here. Let's find out from them how the process has gone for them so far. Chief, you're welcome to join us.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay, what's your name?
I'm Jacob Akufo.
Jacob Akufo. Okay, so tell me, you are the NDC party rep?
Yes, please.
Okay, how has the process gone for you so far?
Oh, as of now, everything is going on smoothly. The process is going on smoothly. We don't have any qualms or skirmishes. Registration is going on smoothly. People are coming in, applicants are coming in with the required documents. That's the Ghana passport or Ghana card. So everything is going on smoothly here.
Okay. Yesterday there was a bit of disagreements. Have you seen that happen here today?
No, please.
Okay. That has not happened here?
Yes.
Okay. And as an agent, are you satisfied with what you've seen? Everything you've seen? The BVDs, the registration process and everything, are you? Okay?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
Okay.
I'm satisfied with everything.
Okay. So what's your duty as the agent for the NDC here? What do you look out for?
I'm here to look out for my party so that no illegality will occur here.
Okay.
Those of the legal age, that is from 18 years or older, can register.
Okay.
And also to avoid minors being registered, because as you know, our opponents from the other side, that's the MPP, they are very fond of doing that. So we have to prevent that and make sure that everything goes as law.
Okay, you say they are fond of doing that. I mean, they are not here to defend themselves, so I beg you. But you say all is well.
All is well. All is well.
So you look out for the documentation that the people bring to do the registration.
Yes.
You look out for the passport. You look out for the Ghana card. You want to be sure that that is.
Yes, everything is genuine. Yes.
Okay.
I do that.
And then there are guarantors, I guess.
And the guarantors are addressed to.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you very much for speaking to us.
Welcome.
Okay. We have the NPP party agent also here. He's finishing his breakfast, but let's find out from him. Chief, you're welcome to join us.
Oh, thank you.
What's your name?
Okay,
you are the NPP rep, right?
Yeah.
Okay, tell me, how's the process gone so far?
Oh, I think so far everything is good. Everything is going on smooth and well. As we are now, we are stopping to have some small breakfast so that we can continue again.
Okay. So you're satisfied with the process today?
Yeah.
Yesterday was different, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Are you okay?
Right, we are okay.
Okay, sure. Thank you very much for speaking to us. Okay, great. So you just heard from the NPP rep here at this particular registration center, city engineers. The process has been smooth so far, and this man here just went through the registration process. What is happening now is that facial recognition, which we know is an essential feature of this year's voters registration, exercise. So they've taken shots of him, and they've taken his biodata as well here, and that would complete the process. He would only have to bring out the printed sheet to the lady over there, and then they would laminate the card, and that's it. The process is over. So that's what is happening here at City Engineers.
Yeah, I'm Assistant Superintendent of Police.
Our cameras will continue to capture the scenes for you, and we'll bring them to you right here on JoyNews. Let's go back to the grounds. My colleague Maxwell Adobia is this time at Choco, and he joins us live with some updates. Maxwell, I'm interested in knowing how people are observing social distancing at Choco, where you are.
Well, Ernest, disappointingly, here at the Blizzard Assurance Registration Center, social distancing is not really happening. I want to show you what is happening in the queue right now. Well, many of the people here have started wearing their masks after they've seen our cameras. But what we observed when we came here was that some of them had it in their pocket, some of them were wearing it under their chins. In fact, many of them were not wearing their masks. Social distancing, it's a big problem here. Now I'm hearing, some of the officials here telling them to space out. But you can clearly see that social distancing is not really working here. But after we pulled out our cameras, a lot of the people here are wearing their masks. There are 4 registration centers here. This is just one of them. Let me just show you what is happening on the other side as well. So we'll carefully pan for you to see what is happening on the other side. No social distancing. Some of the people not wearing their masks. Just when we pulled out our cameras, they started, wearing the masks. But it looks like the 1 meter rule that the EC stated would be enforced is not really working here. I have a concerned resident who is here with me. We want to speak to him and find out from him what the situation is like here. Sir, you're welcome to join us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You are a resident?
Yes.
And before we pulled out our cameras, you saw the situation here.
Yes.
Can you tell us what the situation was like before we pulled out the cameras?
The situation is not all that good. Social distancing, social distancing poor. Nose masks, no. Washing of hands, I am not seeing it. But what I'm seeing really, what I'm seeing really is the thermometer gun. The thermometer gun is being applied.
Okay.
But for the social distancing, you can even see from the cameras that it is not the best. So I am suggesting that the authorities should make sure, the Electoral Commission should make sure certain measures are put in place so that at least this community, they must be able to abide by the social distancing and the wearing of the masks. Even I can see some of the people here who want to register, and some of them are not even having their nose masks, and they are even shouting. So I hope the authorities should do something about it, because all the health protocols, almost 90% of the health protocols have been abused.
But you're a resident here. Have you tried advising them or anything?
You have asked a fantastic question. As for advice, you advise them, but it is very difficult for them to take. And I was even suggesting that, according to the Electoral Commission, the chair, Madam Jean Manson, was saying that the registration should be done in phases. But I don't know whether the information didn't go down well with the residents. So there are certain phases who have come here where the registration have not reached their various phases. Okay. So the huge number of people here are from other registration centers. That is why it has brought up this huge numbers.
Okay, thank you very much. What is your name again?
Sorry?
Your name again?
Mr. N.Y. Kusi.
Okay, and you're a resident?
I'm a resident here at Choco. Yeah.
A concerned resident, I should say.
Resident at Choco.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome, sir.
Let's see if we can speak to some of the potential registrants here at this particular registration center, Blessed Assurance. But you can still see the persons here are so close. They've breached the 1 meter distance that the EC says it was going to enforce. It is not working here. Many of them are not wearing their masks. Some of them have it under their chins. Just when they saw our cameras, they started pulling their face masks out. So talk to me. Touch about it.
Mr. Kut. Achami Kutoko. Danyo Jimmy.
Okay. Where you are, where you are. Me neba nuni before ni oba boy interview nuni nyambola ya bia me neba.
Ni oba wa ifa bie. Le wa hana mama family na ma na yo. Mineke ya bia na nyegba ke 11. No wa fe wa ya na mami. Simoko ya na tesibia no ne ba ka ba dumo yin ka ka fe ale. Keba dumoye kaka afe ale keba dumoye kaka afe le wo ka wo nu chichi no wo smart police bi e ame arrange la ya wo si wa chako bi e na wo nu oni achichi ka wo wi achichi no mo wo nu achichi.
Okay. Well, her concern is that some of the people who are coming here to register are not following the order of the queue. So what they do is when they come here, they jump the queue and then they register. That is her concern. But let me find out from her. Ni imbabia na ni gbamepi nyawo mask, face mask nyawo, social distance manya zero.
Social distance wifi. No social distance anya afio chika police fu edumoshi ni life ya le pepepe kemene dumobi la ke enyemi la dumobi social distance ba ba mi shiboni me ba fu o ewo aka na sumo de enyemi ba fu lo be sane petele no ma se ke sanitizer no ka buo wo e bi.
Okay. Well, she says it is difficult to adhere to the social distancing protocol because some persons here are jumping the queue and they want to register. So in order to prevent them, they have to close the gap and get closer to their colleagues who are also in the queue. So she says that their defense here is their defense against the coronavirus is a face mask and then a sanitizer. But that face mask also, I'm afraid, when we put off our cameras, it's going to go down. The face mask is going to go down under the chin here. Let's speak to some other people also. Okay, start out with them.
Over to Manti.
Manti.
Oh, fine.
Many of your mask. Why have you taken off your mask? Wait. So you can't breathe because you're in the queue. That's what you're saying?
I got what more she okay,
so you wear it. What mask at the Okay. Well, she was saying that she cannot breathe with a mask, and that's why she's taking it off. But we want her to wear it before we interact with her. Okay.
What about to lie on no me saka tuni go me never be eba homi e wa police fu na me ba ta ka me nya me du moshi na range lie fine aka ka police fu ed moshi gbe ye se mo ba ba se ka me ba ka me te wa me nya me fe na kan no mo so anu kaja so ni ba shin store ni ba iye ko ni yin di mi ma gbe se bi ane no o fa ne wo nya na range lie fine na fi amenju wo.
Palestinians would be pleased that nothing is happening.
And apologies there for that break in the transmission from Choko, where my colleague Maxwell Adodba is. We'll be bringing you more from there. Aside the issue of social distancing and the lack of enforcement and adherence to the wearing of face masks, there's also the issue of the process so far. They're claiming that they have been given numbers to make the registration process quite smooth, but that has not been followed, and they would want the security agencies, the officials there, to help control that situation. We'll be bringing you more as far as the registration exercise is concerned. Our reporters are all over the country monitoring the process, and we'll bring you up to speed. Right now, I want us to talk about online protection or cyber protection for children. And as you may know, that picture of the actress and comedian Ekuapin Polo, as she's popularly known, and her son has gone viral, and the Gender Ministry has taken notice of this. They have expressed concern. We understand that she's been invited by the CID as well to answer some questions for exposing her son in that manner. This has raised the issue of protection and cyberbullying as far as children are concerned. We'll be having a short conversation on that. Let's speak to the Executive Director of Child Online Africa, Awo Amenya, and she joins us. Thank you very much, madam, for your time. I'm sure you've seen the picture of Ekuapin Polo. She later made a video to say that she didn't intend to expose the child and that this is a normal relationship that exists between the two of them. What do you make of that?
Good morning, and good morning to your viewers, and thanks for the opportunity. I don't want to read into her text because you and I know too well that what we saw in the picture spoke volume. And the fact that children are confronted with too many issues nowadays, it's worrying to see such images coming out and coming from somebody who has a number of followers. So for her to say that she didn't intend to expose the child, there were instances where I read about the fact that, oh, he sees that every day. So what is wrong with it? I mean, such pronouncements do not commensurate what is being said, that she didn't intend to expose the child. The truth is that the internet has made pornography anonymous, affordable, and accessible to a number of people. And as parents, we are now confronted with so many issues of having to deal with or understand memes, jargons, and a couple of other things. If I go back to her trends or what she does online, I don't need a PhD in media studies to say that she's been abusing all of us, including her child. Her images online do not speak well of anybody. So if she's made herself a hypersexualized human being, it only presupposes that the child has a right to be protected from unseen, inappropriate content, so to speak. And therefore, the Ministry of Gender, the CRI, and all other agencies that have interest in this have every right to say that the child needs protection, the child needs his best interest secured. It would also interest you to know that we have issues of rape and indecent attack on women and all of that happening around. This is how all those things start. Research shows that any child who is introduced to porn below the age of 12 has a tendency of reduced empathy on even rape victims, and his intimacy level goes down as well. And so for me, I wouldn't be surprised if I hear the next time that the child is masturbating or the child has slapped a like that is what will be happening, or that is what it is. So there's a lot we need to do about that. It's not enough for her to say that she's not going to do it again.
And I'm just wondering,
not take her for her word, because she's noted for things around that.
Would you agree with those who are saying, madam, that because of what she's done, perhaps the child should be taken away from her, at least for a while, to be taken through some, psychological, he needs some psychological attention, essentially. And would that be lawful?
I think both of them require psychological support. Her behavior, for me, does not speak well. So little did I know she even has a child. So now that we all know she's got a 7-year-old child, she needs support. There's something fundamentally wrong with her. So let's not downplay that aspect. So she needs help. The child needed to also undergo some sort of reintegration and a bit of psychological counseling.
But I'm just looking at the aspect of taking the child away from her. Would that be lawful? I know you're very familiar with that space.
I lost you on that.
Yes, so I wanted to find out, will taking the child away from her, however short or, whatever the period is, would that be lawful?
We are not talking about, if the child is supposed to be taken from her, there are procedures.
Okay.
And she would have to be made to agree to such procedures so that in the end they all receive help. So it's not the punitive approach of just taking the child away, because if that is done, there's a high possibility of she repeating that again because she hasn't shown remorse for her action. So she has to be taken through the process to understand the repercussions of her action, and subsequently maybe enter an agreement with either the police or the Ministry of Gender that she isn't going to repeat that again, and that she can be monitored. So I think the interest of the child is paramount, and the child belongs to the state to some extent. So there has to be that dialogue, there has to be that agreement between the state and the mother. So then proper action is put in place.
But on the general issue of cyber abuse, you mentioned that children are exposed because the internet is really a free space. What can we do to protect our children in that regard? Is there much we can do?
There's a lot we can do, and that is what we do with all the strength in us. It's important the education goes out there. Okay. This lockdown period has made even porn sites the most visited sites than Netflix and Amazon and all those other sites. So if that is what research is telling us, it is obvious, like I said earlier, porn is now, the internet has made pornography anonymous, affordable, and accessible. So the education around it and the effect of it on the young person has to go very far. And I feel that, considering the fact that there are protocols for the internet, the only way we can go smoothly on the issue of education is to make safety education a lifestyle in the home. With that, then we can be sure that we are raising a generation that will know that porn has effect on me and will not voluntarily go in for it.
So beyond that, are there technical, for instance, measures we can put in place in our schools, for instance, to help address these issues? Hello, madam. I think we lost her briefly there. We'll try and rectify that and bring her response to you. Would also be reaching out to the cyber unit to find out what is being done. We know that they're working very hard to put in place the infrastructure to reduce cyberbullying, not just for children, but we'll be zooming in on the issue of how children are affected by this. If we have Madam Amenya on the line. Madam, I was just asking, beyond the issue of education, what can we do technically to make sure that we limit access, for instance, to certain sites as far as children are concerned and the spaces that we find them, schools and all of that?
My brother, the fact is that there are technical procedures which could be carried out. But it would also interest you to know that there are a whole bunch of adults who are interested in that content. So in order not to make it look like we are depriving them of their rights, the education camp stops for me. And again, the other aspect will be the restriction. Let's say, for instance, Facebook is not admitting children below 13. But assuming a mother or a father gives the phone to the child at this time, maybe Facebook is even too far.
Too bad we lost that feed there, but that was the Executive Director of Child Online Africa, Awo Amenya, joining us with her views following that story about the CID inviting Ekuapem Polo to answer some questions for exposing her son in the manner, her 7-year-old son. We're taking a short break. When we return, we'll bring you more here on News Desk. Stay with us.
And finally, we are counting down to a very important conversation at 1 o'clock on Joy FM, the masterclass that we have dubbed the Entrepreneur Rebound, how entrepreneurs can survive during these times of the COVID-19 pandemic. One of the resource persons would be business development consultant John Amam. Here's him telling us what to expect later today.
We're in very, very, very strange times, and companies are looking at how they can be resilient. For companies that don't have what you call a resumption or contingency plan, they've been wondering, how do I tackle the effects of COVID on my business? So from micro, small, medium enterprises, everyone is asking very critical questions of themselves. Do I have the staying potential? Do I have the earning potential? And do my customers still have the purchasing power to continue to do business with me over what life cycle? Should I be looking at product diversification? What does my bandwidth look like? What does an investment look like for me? How does marketing look like in COVID? How do I deal with inventory management, among others? So there's so many things that businesses are looking at that we think is important. That's why this program is essential. It's bringing together parties from taxing, from taxation, from financial management, from human resource, to answer the critical questions around the business anatomy of a business. What do I do in COVID? How do I stay relevant? What do I do in product development? How do I manage teams? How do I manage my cash cycle? How do I deal with creditors? How do I deal with suppliers? And what is the investment thesis critical for me to be resilient post-COVID? We will look at this conversation from a number of angles. From one, he who is seeking to start and he who has started. And look at it from really the essentials of starting, essential of growing the business. Is it a good time to look at cutting down costs in my business? Is it a good time to defer some payments within my business? Is this a good time to look at diversification? What will marketing look like? So same things. If we spill all the beans now, we may not have people on the program. But we can assure the listeners and viewers of Joy that when you watch this program, we would attempt to answer your questions around value chain analysis. Which part of the value chain should you be considering? What are the investment theses that you need to create to be able to be resilient in this economy? And I'm sure that my seniors and myself would seek to do just that in answering the questions.
And it promises to be an exciting conversation at 1 p.m. on Joy FM, the masterclass. Don't miss it. That's it for business. Ernest?
The Ghana Medical Association is worried about community spread of coronavirus, especially as many applicants for voter ID cards disregard social distancing and the wearing of face masks. The letter addressed to the Electoral Commission says the EC chairperson and other members of the commission should be ultimately held responsible and accountable by the state for any wanton disregard of the COVID-19 enforcement of COVID-19 preventive measures at the voter registration centers. Titus Bayo, Deputy General Secretary of the GMA, spoke to us.
Indeed, we have concerns. For us as a medical body, our major concern is that, yes, this is a legitimate exercise as has been approved by the Supreme Court of Ghana. However, it also serves as a ground on which there could be increased community spread. And therefore, we decided to caution the EC. I should state emphatically that this was a private letter we sent to the EC way back as Friday, prior to the start of the events today. And we had hoped that the EC would take heed to this and implement same so that we will all be safe. Because what we are seeing in the hospitals suggests that we are not out of the woods at all. And so EC and anybody who organizes public activities like this must adhere to the laws that we have put in place.
Since you're medical people, you ultimately have fears that the cases could spike. And what we saw on the ground, and based on your observations, there was wanton disregard, as in point 7 of your statement, for these preventive protocols. What then?
Indeed, and we have.
Please go on, Dr. Bayo.
No, I think you were saying something. Let me hear you.
So I also wanted to add, what then do we do with the current state of things as noticed in the first day?
All right. So I think the EC still has opportunity to make amends. And in our statement, we cautioned that any activity that puts the life of Ghanaians at risk and result in larger outbreaks of this condition, endangering the lives of Ghanaians, the EC should be held liable. And the EC here will mean the commissioner and all her commissioners and other officials there must be held personally responsible for any breaches in the EI that has been passed that result in danger to lives of Ghanaians. And for what we are seeing, indeed, we can see, and we have done some of our own monitoring, and a lot of people are not respecting the law. What is the use of passing a law and people not obeying it? And at official state events or national events, people not obeying this law, which by medical science, if not obeyed, really puts all of us at risk. So we think the EC must be up and doing, the law enforcement agencies must be up and doing, but the ultimate responsibility is on the Electoral Commission because they are the convener of this activity or this exercise. And therefore, all other agencies are only assisting them. So they must come clean with the implementation of the executive instrument with regards to
Now, the Asokore Mampo Municipal Chief Executive Ali Duseidu says he will hold Asawasi MP Muntaka Mubarak responsible for any disruption of the voter registration exercise in the area. It follows a warning by the MP of fierce resistance to alleged grant scheme by the governing NPP to bus non-residents into Asawasi to register. Nanasa Sumensa has more.
What we are saying is that you guarantee victory as a result of your hard work. We know we have done what we are supposed to do, and for that matter, that will give us victory. It's not about busing people, bus who from where. But you see, as I stand here, I'm not standing here and speaking as a parliamentary candidate, neither am I speaking as an MPP person. I'm speaking in my capacity as the municipal chief executive, and for that matter, municipal security council chairperson. You don't pull nerves, you don't say things, warmongering, expressing your own anger with such a sabotage, saying that whoever is coming from his house to come and register, to bid farewell to his family before he gets here. It means that we will hold you responsible in case of any hurt. If anybody gets hurt, we shall hold him responsible. Because at the end of the day, we want to have free, fair, and trouble-free registration and election. It doesn't matter where someone comes from. I don't care. It's about Ghanaians. If you go down there, people are registering. Everywhere people are registering. So if you think that somebody is not a Ghanaian, there is a process. There is a challenge form there for you to challenge. That's it. You also have agents everywhere. So why this hula-baloo? Throwing drones and what have you on the sky? Look, the best way to defend is to attack. And these are some of the things he does. You see, the issue is that he has decided to do this. So he has to come out with such a gimmick so that to scare a certain process out there, to slow down the pace. But we are not perturbed with this thing. He should come and stop the process. It's going on. We are okay. There is no problem. EC can guarantee you victory. Absolutely. Security situation, you can see. Police is around, all the police stations they are there. We also have the army also moving up and down. The military are also there, just to make sure that we get sanity and the process go on well. You see, they have that sort of game that they play. Come here, if they see that is perceived to be MPP's wrong goal, they will go there and cause mayhem just to slow the process.
In that interview with my colleague Asensu Mensah, but that'll be it for News Desk. Many thanks for your company. You can log on to myjoyonline.com. You'll find more stories there. I'm Ernest Minu. Stay there.